imbibers, a very good evening to all of you. Once again, we are here with the another session of the sexual reproduction in flowering plant. But today we're going to only discuss about, or we're going to practice some questions related to the topics all we have covered in the previous session, which is the Megasporangium and the Microsporangium. All the questions related to these two topics will be covered in today's session. Yes, we're going to practice some questions related to it. We're going to make the concept more clear. The practicing questions is always going to make the concept more clear, the topic more clear, and yes, we are to practice so many questions related to this particular topic. So before we start, let me introduce you to myself again. I am Anam Khan. I'll be your botany expert for the session 2023 and 2024, and we're going to discuss all the amazing and interesting topics related to botany like we have been discussing, starting with the very first chapter, which is the sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. We have discussed so many topics related to, when you are still continuing with the other topic after this practice session tomorrow, we have again the topic discussion related to the pollen outbreeding devices, and after that we have this pollen pistil interaction. Okay, so let's start without wasting any time. Let's start our today's practice session. Yes, moving forward, children, in today's session the only part, the practicing questions would be totally related to the Megasporangium and the Microsporangium, the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part. All the questions are only sticking to the part we have already covered. Yes, these are the two parts which we have already covered. We're going to discuss the questions related to that only. Moving forward, let's start the practice session. Let's start attempting the very first question of today's session, which is the functions of the tapetum include. Yes, we have discussed the whole structure of the anther in detail, and there I have explained you about the layers of the anther, and this particular layer, what is the function of the tapetum wall. Yes, quickly answer. What is the function of the tapetum wall? What does it do in the anther? What is the function of the tapetum in the anther? Provide nourishment, provide protection, provide lipid-rich U-based bodies containing sporopollen, and provide mechanical support to the embryo sac. Yes, quickly answer this. What is the function of the tapetum wall? The function of the tapetum wall is that it majorly provides you with what? Children, you can have this amazing experience of directly attempting questions through the app if you join us on the Embibe app and register for the classes. All the practice session would be amazing and experience for you where you can directly answer without posting it in the comments. So please do join us on the Embibe app, and all the sessions have been scheduled. All the sections topic wise has been scheduled. One by one we are taking every topic and explaining everything. Yes, coming back to the question, the function of the tapetum wall is that it provides lipid-rich U-based bodies containing sporopollen for exine formation. Yes, it do provide nourishment but not to the endosperm. Yes, of course, this is the wrong statement. It's this the lipid-rich U-based bodies and containing the sporopollen for the exine. The next question on your screen is, how many meiotic divisions are required to form 200 pollen grains? How many meiotic divisions are required to produce 200 pollen grains? Yes, if you remember the microsporogenesis, we have discussed about that. So you must be remembering that how many meiotic divisions are required to produce 200 pollen grains. Yes, can I see this? The amount of meiotic divisions required to form 200 pollen grains. Yes? Yes? The 200 pollen grains required the 50 meiotic division, because one division produces 4, and how much we need? We need 200. So of course we only need 50 divisions to produce 200 pollen grains. Next question, the pollen grains are what? How they are used for what purpose they are used for? Pollen grains are used for what? Yes, quickly, pollen grains are used for what? Yes, pollen grains are used for what? As a tablet, as a food supplement, in pollen banks for crop breeding program, or what? Yes. The pollen grains are used for the all of the above. Yes, all the particular characteristics, all the particular usage of the pollen grain have been mentioned. So, all of the above is the answer. Next question. Which layer of microsporangium will degenerate before maturity? Which layer of microsporangium will degenerate before maturity? Before it attains maturity, which layer of microsporangium will degenerate? Very simple question, absolutely easy. Yes. Which layer of the microsporangium is going to degenerate before maturity? Yes, children. Which? Come on, quickly answer. Epidermis, endothecium, middle layer or the tapetum? Which layer will degenerate? The middle layer will degenerate on the maturity. Yes, the middle layer of the microsporangium will degenerate before maturity. The middle layer of microsporangium will have 2 to 4 cells and short-lived and epiphermal. Next question related to microsporangium is, during microsporogenesis, meiosis occurs in which cells? Which part of the meiosis occur? Yes. Which part of the anther does the meiosis is occurring? The microsporogenesis, the meiosis is occurring in which part? Yes, vegetative cell, pollen grains, microspore tetrad or microspore mother cell. Has to be very simple question. This is very simple question. Which part of the microsporogenesis undergo the meiosis? Yes. Yes. During microsporogenesis, the microspore mother cell undergo the process of meiotic division to give rise to microspore. Yes, it will go under the meiosis process. Next question. The thick, highly resistant outer layer of pollen wall is called what? Very thick, it is not easily degradable. So, which part of the highly resistant pollen wall is called what? Yes. The thick, highly resistant outer wall layer of pollen wall is called what? Exine, entine, endothecium, tapetum or what? Yes. Very simple. This is what we have already discussed. Exine, entine, endothecium, tapetum. Everyone. Quickly, the answer is the highly resistant thick layer of pollen wall is called exine. The exine is made up of sporopollen, which is a very hard substance which is not easily degradable. Yes, we have discussed about this. Next question, children. How many male gametes are present in a pollen grain which is shed at 3 cell stage? How many male gametes are present in a pollen grain which is shed at 3 cell stage? You know 60% of the angiosperms they shed at 2 cell stage and the 3 cell stage also. They have how many gametes? Yes, how many gametes are present? Male gametes are present in the pollen grain of 3 cell stage. Yes. How many pollen grains shed at, how many gametes they have? They have 2 male gametes only. One fertilizes with the egg cell, the other fertilizes with the polar nuclei. Next question. During microsporogenesis, meiosis occur in, again, during microsporogenesis, the term meiosis, the reductional division meiosis occur in which part? Occur in which part? During microsporogenesis, the meiosis occur in which part? Yes. During microsporogenesis, the meiosis occur in the microspore mother cell will undergo the process of meiosis and will produce 4 microspore. Next question. Pollen tablets are available in the market are for what? Pollen tablets which are available in the market, you know the pollen tablets, They enhance the stamina, enhances, they had worked as a energy driver. So what, they are basically present in which kind of a market, how they are being used? Yes, quickly. The pollen tablets available in the market are used as, very simple, they are used as supplementary food. They are used as a supplement. It is completely banned in the athlete because it enhances the energy, it enhances the stamina. That is the reason it is being banned in the athlete. Next question. The 3-cell stage found in the pollen grain which is shed at 3 cell stages are, what kind of a cells are present in the 3-cell stage? Come on, quickly answer. Very simple. They have 1 vegetative cells and 2 male gametes. Yes, 1 vegetative cells and 2 male gametes. Next question. The stamens represent what? The stamen in the flower which represent what? It's a microsporangia, male gametophyte, male gamete or microsporophyll. What does the stamen represent? Yes. What does the stamen represent? Microsporangia, male gametophyte, male gametes, microsporophyll. Yes. Very simple. The stamens represent what? The stamen represent the microsporophylls. Yes, the stamen represents the microsporophyll. Okay. For female, we call it as megasporophyll. Next question related to mega and microsporangium is, viability of the pollen grain is maintained for the months except which family? Except which family the viability of the pollen grain is maintained for months? What is the exception? What is the exception that viability of the pollen grain is maintained for months except what? Yes. Yes, the viability of pollen grain is maintained except the Poaceae family. The Poaceae family children, the viability of the pollen grain varies from days to shed from the flowers, but the viability of the pollen grain coming from the Poaceae family, the cereals like rice, wheat, they basically lose the viability in 30 minutes. Yes. Yes, they shed at and they are only viable for 30 minutes. Next question. Which of the following plants causes pollen allergy? Yes, the pollen allergy is also one of the most significant factor that causes bronchitis, asthma. Yes, they are very allergic in nature. So, which among them will produce pollen which are allergic? Parthenium, Amaranthus, Chenopodium. Which of the following will have pollen grain which will cause allergy? Yes. Yes, which will cause the pollen allergy? Parthenium, Amaranthus, Chenopodium, all of the above. Yes, the answer would be the all of the above. Yes, all these plants will produce pollen which is absolutely allergic. Next question we have, in majority of the angiosperms the pollen grains have what? Which are the parts of the pollen grain in the majority of the angiosperm? Yes, how they are basically the feature of the majority of the pollen grains in the angiosperm. What are the features? Yes. What are the features of the angiosperm in the pollen grain? In a majority of the angiosperm, the pollen grains children have one generative cells and one vegetative cell. They cell basically shed at two cell stage, one vegetative cell and one generative cell. Moving forward to our next question, next we have the syncarpous pistil means syncarpous, apocarpous condition. You must have studied in the 11th standard in the morphology chapter. What is the syncarpous condition of the pistil? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by the syncarpous pistil? Yes, the syncarpous pistil means what? The syncarpous pistil means what? Yes, the syncarpous pistil means the carpels are fused. The apocarpum means the carpels are free. Syn means they are synced basically, they are close to each other, fused with each other. Next question children. In angiosperm, free nuclear division compulsorily takes place during what? During which of the part the compulsory free nuclear division takes place? Yes. In angiosperm, free nuclear division compulsory takes place during what? Yes, quickly. Very simple question. Endosperm development, embryo development, female gametophyte development or the male gametophyte development. The correct answer is the female gametophyte development. Okay. Next question children. In orthotropous ovule, in which of the micropyle and chalazal and is in a kind of an orthotropous ovules, what is the basically the arrangement of the micropyle and the chalazal end? In the orthotropous ovule, the arrangement of the micropyle and the chalazal end is according to what? Yes. In the orthotropous ovule, the micropyle and the chalazal end. The micropyle and the chalazal end in the orthotropous ovule are all in the straight line. They are typically in the straight line. Very simple. Next question. Filiform apparatus are found in which is a part of a filiform apparatus? Yes. The filiform apparatus is found in which part? The filiform apparatus is being found in which part? The filiform apparatus is found in which part? Yes, absolutely simple. The filiform apparatus is found in the synergids because the filiform apparatus guides the entry of the male gamete into the egg cell so that the fusion can take place. Next question, children. In a flower, if the megaspore mother cells form megaspores without undergoing meiosis, and if one of the megaspore develops into an embryo, what would be the ploidy? And nuclei would be, how will be the nuclei of a megaspore which has not undergone the meiosis to produce megaspores? Very simple. What will be the ploidy? What will be the ploidy of a megaspore which has not undergone the meiosis division? Yes? Haploid, diploid, few diploid and a diploid, haploid with varying ploidy. Very simple. It has not undergone division, it has to be diploid because the megaspore mother cell is diploid. Next question. Embryo sac is to ovule as in to anther. What is an embryo sac? Embryo sac is what? Which is that to the anther. Embryo sac is to ovule as dash is to the anther. Stamen, filament, pollen grain, androecium. Very simple. Yes? Embryo sac is to ovule as to anther, stamen, filament, pollen grain, androecium. Very simple. Embryo sac is to ovule is when anther is to, it is the pollen grain. Absolutely very simple. Next question. Functional megaspore of an angiosperm develops into what? A functional megaspore of an angiosperm develops into what? Ovule, endosperm, embryo sac or the embryo? This has to be very simple. Ovule, endosperm, embryo sac or the embryo? What does the functional megaspore of an angiosperm develops into? Yes, ovule, endosperm, embryo sac or the embryo? Very simple. The functional megaspore of an angiosperm develops into a embryo sac. Very simple. Next question. Synergids are, what is the ploidy of synergid? What do you think is the ploidy of synergids? What is the ploidy of synergids? Yes? What are the ploidy of synergids? The ploidy of synergid is they would be haploid in nature. Next question. Function of filiform apparatus. Very simple. Just now we have discussed about it. What is the function of filiform apparatus? Yes? What is the function of filiform apparatus? To recognize the suitable pollen and stigma, stimulates division of the generative cells, produce nectar, guide the entry of the pollen tube. What is the function of the filiform apparatus? Very simple, it is guiding the entry of the pollen tube inside the egg cell for the division. In a mature embryo sac, the central cell is, in a mature embryo sac, the central cell is, in a mature embryo sac, the central cell is single nucleate, binucleate, 4 nucleate, 8 nucleate. What is the ploidy of the central cell? Yes, you know we have seen the division, we have seen the formation of an embryo sac in detail. What would be the ploidy of the embryo sac in the central cell? Yes, would be single nucleate, binucleate, 4 nucleate, 8 nucleate. Yes, the ploidy of the central cell, they are binucleate because they have two polar nuclei, 7-celled, if you remember, 8-celled, 7-celled, 8-nucleate stage. 7-cell, 8-nucleate stage is the of the embryo sac. Everybody knows this. Next question. Name the part of gynosium that determines the compatible nature of the pollen grain. Which part of the gynosium is telling you that it is compatible pollen grain, that they can fuse? Yes. Which part of the gynosium determines the compatible nature of pollen grain? Very simple, the compatible nature is basically at the pistil. Yes, the pistil, which is divided into stigma, style and the ovary, is totally telling you that the pollen grain is compatible or not. Next question. In an embryo sac, the cells have degenerate after the fertilization. Which are the cells which degenerate after the fertilization in the embryo sac? Which cells will degenerate after the fertilization in the embryo sac? Yes, quickly. In the embryo sac, cells that degenerate after the fertilization events, the cells will degenerate would be the synergis and the antipodal cell, because the central cell which has polar nuclei will develop into an endosperm, while the egg cell which will the male gamete will fuse will develop into a zygote, which eventually develop into an embryo, and respective cells will degenerate and will cause a food coat, ovary and etc. Next question, children. How many megaspore mother cells required to produce 100 polygonum type of embryo sac? We have discussed about the microscope. This is about the megaspore. Yes. How many megaspore mother cells are required to produce 100 polygonum type of embryo sac? Yes. Very simple answer, it has to be 100. 100 because you know when one megaspore genesis happens, one will produce only 4 it is being produced, 3 will degenerate, 1 will survive. To produce 100 megaspore, we have to do the 100 meiotic divisions. Absolutely correct. Next question. Functional megaspore in an angiosperm develops into a functional megaspore in an angiosperm, it develops into what? A functional megaspore in an angiosperm develops into what? Ovule, endosperm, embryo sac or an embryo? A functional megaspore in an endosperm develops into what? It develops into an embryo sac. Yes, functional megaspore because 3 will degenerate, only 1 will be functional, completing a endospore. Next, in an embryo sac of a typical angiosperm, there is what is the whole thing contained in the embryo sac? What does it embryo sac contain? What are the particular part of the embryo sac? Yes, which are the parts of the embryo sac? Egg, synergids, antipodals. Yes, quickly. Which are the parts of the embryo sac? Very simple, children. It has egg cells, it has synergid, it has polar nuclei and the antipodal cells. Next question. In an angiosperm, the ovule is, in the angiosperm plant, the ovule is embryo sac, endosperm, megasporangium. Very simple, it is a megasporangium. Next, children, we come to an end of our practice session. We have practiced so many questions related to Megasporangium and Microsporangium. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about the outbreeding devices, and after that we are going to discuss about the pollen pistil interaction. Do not miss this session. Do register yourself for the class. We will meet at the same timing on the Embibe app. You can join us on the Embibe app. What you have to do, you just have to select the board, scroll down, select 12th CBSE, your respective language, and you will land on this page. And as you land, you click on the home page button. got the Embibe live classes, and these are the upcoming classes. These are the classes which has been already, and these are the classes which has been already been scheduled. Okay, so children, you can just learn, you can practice, you can test, and you can always see what you have achieved through the Embibe app. And the last, there is an amazing lens, Embibe lens, where you can scan all the particular text and it will highlight all the keywords and will tell you, make you see all the things in the 3D. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same timing. Until then, keep imbibing. Take care. Bye bye.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.